Hello, students. This is your professor, Dr. Mink, and welcome to CSC121 Structured Programming C++ online. I've been at the college for a very long time, and I've taught this course many times, probably more so than any course I've ever taught. So let's get to it. I just want you to know that I'm here for you. You'll be able to reach me via the mail function in Canvas. Please don't send me an email through the college email system. Just use the inbox in Canvas. I check that frequently, and I have an app on my phone. It's the fastest way to get a hold of me. This semester, I will hold 1 hour of online office hours, and I'll post that schedule in the Canvas timeline. And you'll be able to hop on Zoom and ask questions, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get started. This class covers 7 chapters in your textbook, and each chapter will be assigned a 2-week period for completion, except for chapter 1, which is kind of a week and a half because we start on a Wednesday. And chapter 1 is a soft landing into the materials. So I want to bring your attention to the course guide. This is the policies, procedures, grading rubric, everything else that you need to know about this course. There's a lot of moving parts in an online course, and you need to click on every one of the links in Canvas that I provide you, and hopefully in the sequence that they're provided. So let's take a look at your course guide. Okay, I'm not going to read the course description to you or the learning outcomes. It's an online course which includes asynchronous online activities, which means you do this at the time convenient for you. That doesn't mean you don't need to do things and you don't need to spend a lot of time. This is a 4-credit science class that will transfer to almost any university. Okay. We're an accredited institution, and we need to maintain learning outcomes, and I need to assess that you've met those learning outcomes, which means you're going to have to work really hard to complete this course and obtain a good grade. But I'm here with you, and I will be very responsive to questions, and we will have online discussion forums, etc. So let's go down to the grading. Okay, so your assignments, which will be completed 100% in the supplement to the textbook, My Programming Lab. You all will have an e-text, and that's the only way it's available now. So if you want a used textbook, an actual physical textbook, you're gonna have to seek that out through Amazon or wherever. But the e-text is great, and it has table of contents, keyword search, etc. Okay, and it's appropriate for an online course. Your assignments will be completed 100% in My Programming Lab, which is a supplement included in with your textbook. And there's material in the Canvas timeline on how to register for the section of My Programming Lab that has your assignments in it. Your programs, worth 40% of your grade, they're also available in My Programming Lab. If you get a green check in My Programming Lab, there's nothing you need to do. You get 100% on the project. That's the easiest way to get this done. If not, I'm going to have to take your program, the final version of it, and grade it to the rubric in Canvas. Now, don't get confused. The next thing I'm going to tell you is very important. If you complete the project in Canvas, I'm sorry, in My Programming Lab, you don't need to do anything else. You get the green check. You got 100. But please know, and please pay attention to this part. My programming lab is not integrated into Canvas, which means your grades don't automatically move over or appear in Canvas when you get that green check. I have to manually do that, okay? So if you get the green check, immediately after the project is due, I will move those grades over, and I will take your final submission in Canvas if it's not green checked. In other words, you didn't get it correct in Canvas, and I will put it in the compiler, and I will run it, and I will grade it per the rubric in Canvas. You don't need to submit anything in Canvas. I'll take care of all that. Your tests, we're going to have a midterm and a final. They're going to be worth 25%. And your participation is worth 10%. Now, let's talk about this because there's always confusion on the student's end, some confusion on the student's end about how this works. Let's come down to the beginning of chapter 2. Okay. Starting, chapter 1 is really a soft landing into the course. There's a couple little programs you write as part of the My Programming Lab assigned problems, but it's really not I won't say it's not important. It is important, but the bulk of the really critical material begins in chapter 2. So on Monday, January 30th through Sunday, February 5th, will be the first of 2 weeks we will spend on chapter 2. This format will persist throughout the rest of the class. So every 2 weeks, we'll start a new chapter. That first week, due on Sunday, February 5th, 2023, is your participation. And I've put that in the timeline in Canvas. You need to submit a document that includes evidence that you've completed 50% of your project and 50% of the My Programming Lab assignments, which are ultimately due on February 12th for chapter 2. The second of those 2 weeks, your participation will be based on a discussion forum. First week, you've got to get started on the program and the problems. The worst mistake you can make in this class is to procrastinate. Really, you've got to get started. You've got to be finished half of your program the first week. And you've got to be finished at least half, if not all, of the My Programming Lab assignments, assigned problems that first week. This format persists through the rest of the class. So let's all focus on this now, so you're not in chapter 4 and still not getting it. You have to complete the participation grade in the first of 2 weeks for each chapter. So chapter 3 is going to start on February 13th. By February 19th, you'll have to submit the document for participation. And I've put a format, I put a template up there for you. Okay. And then the second week, there'll be a discussion forum. You've got to participate in the discussion forum. And by the end of the second week, you will finish the discussion forum, and the project for chapter 3 and all the My Programming Lab assigned problems will be due then. This continues. Notice we will have a spring break with no activity in the class. Our midterm is due the week after spring break. So that actually provides a nice breather for you in the middle of the class. Done this many times. The spring semester is really nice for students. The class will end on the 8th. We'll have a final exam that day. It will be timed, but it will be asynchronous. And I'll talk about that much more in detail as we get closer to that. Canvas timeline for all the due dates. So let's come back here. This first module in Canvas I'll put my office hour schedule in here. How to access your assignments. This is a link you got to look at to learn how to gain access to your My Programming Lab assignments, how to find your source code file. If you're using Visual Studio 2022 Community, which is how do you install it is right here. Some students have difficulty the second time finding their source code file. Put a little resource here. Of course, you can reach out to me if you have problems, and I'll walk you through it. If you're using a Mac, okay, here is an online C++ compiler for the Mac users. It's really nice. You create a free login, and it saves all your programs, okay? I always know who doesn't listen to this welcome video, because I get somebody in week 2 or week 3 saying, I'm trying to install Visual Studio on my Mac, and it's not working. It never will. Well, there are ways, but they're pretty complex. You have to install a virtual machine, you have to install a Windows environment, and then you need to install Visual Studio in the Windows environment. So anyway, look, I don't want to take too much of your time here. This is really important material in here. You've got to read each one of these, then begin reading chapter 1 before you complete. Here's the lecture for chapter 1. Read the chapter before you complete the lecture. Watch the lecture, and then here's a video on how to create your first project. And then here's your assignments. Chapter 1, My Programming Lab assigned problems. There is a first C++ program. It is very, very, very simple. And here's your chapter 1 discussion forum. I think that's all. Thanks for joining my class. I'm here with you. I'll check this every day, almost every day, not on Sundays. So have a great time. Hope you enjoy the class. Stay engaged with me. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.